Greetings to Spring ISD's incoming 5th graders. This lesson will cover two-step multiplication and division word problems. In the last lesson, you learned how to solve one-step multiplication and division word problems. So let's review multiplication and division to make sure you have a clear understanding of these terms. Multiplication involves combining equal groups, and the total is unknown. Division involves separating equal groups, and we know what the total is. Here is a flowchart of questions you can ask yourself when you're trying to figure out if you multiply or divide when reading a word problem. First, we start by reading the question. That should be more than once, so you don't miss anything important. Then we ask, do you know the total amount? This is why we read the problem more than once, so you'll know what information you have. If yes, what is the total? Write it down with its label. If no, what else do you know? Do you know the number of groups? Or do you know the amount in each group? If you did find the total, you'll ask yourself a similar question. What else do you know? If you find both the number of groups and the number in each group, what is it? Check the problem again. You may not have looked at the question correctly. Chances are you should only have one other piece of information, so you should divide. On the other side, if you couldn't find a total, did you find that other piece of information? Yes? Then multiply. If not, check the problem again. We need to be strategic when we answer word problems, especially ones that require more than one step. So I like to use UPS check. The U is for understand. We have to make sure we understand what the problem is telling us and asking us. This might require for you to read it more than once and read each sentence one by one to make sure it makes sense to you. The P is for plan. This is the part that helps you see the problem more clearly before you solve it. You can plan in some different ways. You can draw a picture, make a diagram, estimate the answer, or maybe another option that your teacher may have taught you or one you came up with on your own. The S is for solve. This is when you show all of your math work. Labeling your answers will help you stay organized, especially when you are solving problems that have more than one step. And lastly, we need to check our answers. This is so important. So you make sure that you actually answered the question that was asked and that it makes sense. I'm going to go through a couple of questions with you to teach you how to understand what the problem is about and what information we need to solve it correctly. There are 48 crayons in a box. There are 12 boxes in a carton. Ms. Diaz ordered 6 cartons of crayons for her art class. How many crayons did she order? The first thing we find out when reading this problem is that there are 48 crayons in a box. Then we find out there are 12 boxes in a carton. Then we know there are 6 cartons of crayons that she ordered. Most importantly, the question is asking us to find how many crayons she ordered. If you could picture each piece of information, it would look like this. You can visualize information as you read a problem to help you see what's happening to the numbers and how combining information can help you solve it. Now that we know what's important, we can work on a plan to help solve the problem. Since the problem is looking for how many crayons she ordered, we need to figure out how many crayons are in a carton. I can use a diagram to help me see what's happening. Since we have 48 crayons in each of the 12 boxes, we are combining equal groups. So we have to multiply to find the number of crayons. So our first step is to multiply 12 times 48. You already went over how to multiply in a previous lesson, so I won't do that here. When I multiply 48 times 12, I get 576 crayons in a carton. Notice that this answer only tells us the number of crayons in one carton, not how many she bought altogether. But now that I know how many crayons are in one carton, I can figure out how many crayons are in 6 cartons. We can use another diagram to help us see it better. Since I'll be combining equal groups again, I need to multiply again. 576 times 6 equals 3,456 crayons. So Miss Diaz ordered 3,456 crayons. Does my answer make sense? Well, I could see from my visuals that the number of crayons is increasing every time I put them together. So it makes sense that my answer is large. My visuals also show combining equal groups, so multiplication was the correct operation to use. Let's look at this one. Students collected 58 crates of canned food for a community kitchen. Each crate contained 32 cans. Kitchen volunteers packed the cans in boxes of 4 to distribute. How many boxes did the volunteers fill? The first thing we find out when reading this problem is that there are 58 crates of canned food. Then we find out there are 32 cans in a crate. Then we know they packed 4 cans in each box. Most importantly, the question is asking us to find how many boxes the volunteers filled. Let's start planning out what we can do to help solve the problem. Since the numbers are bigger, I'm going to estimate what should happen based on the information. 58 crates and 32 cans in each crate, meaning 58 groups of 32, or combining equal groups, or multiplication. 58 times 32 equals 1,856 total cans in the crates. I still don't know the number of boxes the volunteers filled, so I'm going to use a model to help with the next part. I know I have 1,856 total cans, and 4 cans are going in each box. So I need to divide 1,856 by 4 to find the answer. 1,856 divided by 4 equals 464. The volunteers filled 464 boxes. Does this answer make sense? Well, there are a lot of canned goods and only 4 cans per box, so I would need a lot of boxes for all those cans. Let's try some together. Isabel's family had 745 strawberries. They separated the strawberries into 5 equal bags. They gave 2 of these bags to a friend. How many strawberries did Isabel's family give to a friend? What information do we know, and what are we trying to figure out? It looks like we have 745 strawberries that are being put into 5 bags equally, and 2 of those bags were given to a friend. The question is asking us the number of strawberries given to a friend. What information do we need to find first? First, we need to find out how many strawberries are in each of the 5 bags. See if you can draw a diagram to show how we would figure that out. The diagram should show 745 across the top of your strip to represent the total amount of strawberries, and the strip is divided into 5 equal sections that represent each bag. What operation do we use to find the number of strawberries in each bag based on our diagram? We divide 745 by 5 to find the answer. Take a few minutes to do the division. When we divide 745 by 5, we should have gotten 149. Is that our answer? No, not quite. The question asked how many strawberries were given to her friend. We have only found out how many strawberries are in one bag. So what do we need to find out next? Now we have to get the actual problem we were asked to solve. The number of strawberries in 2 bags. How do we do that? See if you can draw another diagram to see how you can represent this part of the problem. The diagram should show an unknown total and 2 bags with 149 strawberries in it. What operation does the diagram show? If you said multiplication, you're right. Now take a few minutes to do the math. 149 times 2 equals 298. Isabel gave 298 strawberries to a friend. Does our answer make sense? Well, we started with 745 strawberries, so we know we weren't getting more strawberries since we're separating them into bags. Separating equal groups definitely means division, so we did that correctly. And multiplying it by 2 to find out how many strawberries were given away. Yes, our answer makes sense. Let's look at this one. Nora sold pictures during an art sale. She sold 16 pictures on Thursday. She sold 3 times as many pictures on Friday as she sold on Thursday. Each picture sold for $34. How much money did Nora earn from picture sales on Friday? What information do we know and what are we trying to figure out? It looks like we know she sold 16 pictures on Thursday and 3 times that amount on Friday. We also know that each picture sold for $34. The question is asking how much money she earned on Friday. What information do we find first? First, we need to find out how many pictures Nora sold on Friday. See if you can draw a picture to show that. When we read times as many, we know that means we need to multiply. So our picture shows 16 repeated 3 times. We multiply 16 times 3 to find the answer. Take a few minutes to do the multiplication. When we multiply 16 and 3, we should have gotten 48. But is this our answer? Nope, not yet. The question asked how much money was earned on Friday. So what do we find out next? Now we have to get to the question that was asked. How much did she make on Friday? For this one, let's estimate our answer. We know she sold 48 pictures and she charged $34 per picture. Those numbers are too big to draw a picture. So let's think. 48 pictures represents my groups, and each group is worth $34. So that's 48 groups of 34. And I know I need to find out the total money earned. So I need to combine these equal groups. What operation does our list show us that we need to do? If you said multiplication, you're right. Now take a few minutes to do the math. 48 times 34 equals 1,623. Nora sold $1,623 worth of pictures on Friday. Does our answer make sense? Well, we found out Nora sold more pictures on Friday than on Thursday, so 48 makes sense. Then multiplying each of those pictures by $34, yep, that makes sense. Now it's your turn to try. An art teacher puts 5 boxes of crayons on each table in her classroom. Each box contains 28 crayons, and there are 9 tables in all. What is the total number of crayons? Take your time and use what we've gone over to work this problem out. Let's see how you did. What do we know? We know there are 5 boxes of crayons on each table, 20 crayons per box, and 9 tables total. The question is asking us to find the total number of crayons. Here's what I did. First, I figured out the number of crayons on each table by multiplying 5 times 28, and I got 140. Then I multiplied again to find out the crayons on all 9 tables to get 1,260 crayons. Our answer is D. Here's the next one. A farmer must pack the apples picked from her orchard into boxes. She has 324 baskets of apples. Each basket contains 6 apples. Each box holds 8 apples. How many boxes does the farmer need to pack all of the apples? Pause the video and work it out. First, we have to know what the problem gives us. 324 baskets each with 6 apples, and each box holds 8 apples. The question asks us how many boxes are needed to pack all of the apples. I used models to help me see what was going on. First, I found how many apples were picked total by multiplying 324 times 6. Then I divided that number by the number of apples each box holds. The answer is 243 boxes needed to pack all of the apples. Here's the last one. At a summer camp, 420 campers are divided into 5 equal groups. There are 7 counselors for each group. All of the counselors are assigned the same number of campers. How many campers are assigned to each counselor? Pause and take your time to work. Here we go. We know there are 420 campers split into 5 equal groups and 7 counselors for each group. The question is asking how many campers were assigned to each counselor. I used pictures again to help represent the problem. First, I divided the total campers into 5 groups. Then divided again to figure out how many campers are assigned to each counselor. The answer is C, 12. When we solve word problems with multiple steps, it's important to have a plan. So take your time, reread the problems, and use all the information necessary to answer the question that was asked. Most importantly, go back and make sure that your answer makes sense. For your final challenge, you will complete the next problems on your own and turn them into your teacher. Pause the video and take your time. You got this. Need help? Ask your teacher or someone at home for more help on this topic. See you next time.